Hi. Now I know told you that I'm gonna post a Hollow Knight, but switching between games kinda ruins my skill. Like, I went back to Hollow Knight and I played terribly. So I stick with World of Warcraft until I finish it. Now I did take a break, played some StarCraft 2 roguelike, which I'm not gonna post, it's just for myself. And here we go again. Of course, the first thing I wanted to do is take my revenge. So I did Foreman once again with the same trick, but this time I was ready for the dwarves. I wasn't expecting for the AoE turn. I immediately sacrificed my woodworker to survive. And survive I did, but it was still pretty bad. I mean, he died, that's all I care. Respawn was there, yeah. I almost died again, yeah. But I did take my revenge, and the quest was completed. Now, almost nothing happened during the leveling, I just hit 32 as you can see. I picked the curse that slows movement speed and additional 5% on it, and during the whole leveling nothing really happened. I just killed centaurs one by one and stuff like that in Thousand Needles and harpies in Stone Town. It was pretty boring. I mean, I killed an elite harpy, but that's all. Now, going to the dungeon was kinda uneventful once again. Most of them came by one, and they weren't any special elites, like, oh, they can heal, but I can fear them. As long as they came by one, or at least two, nothing was really in a danger. Now, after I did Shadowfang Keep and Advance and dungeons that were actually kind of difficult, I underestimated this dungeon. Really underestimated it. Especially that you can pretty much skip almost all the bosses, like the Turtle one, the Naga, the Murloc. All you have to kill is the Orc at the end and the last boss, so I was just kinda like, yeah, this shouldn't be that difficult, right? Now, I did skip most of the fights, and yeah, this is dangerous, but keep in mind that respawn is something that I have to fight, especially that the respawn is like 2 or 3 hours. I don't know exactly, but as we know, patrols are like 20 minutes, so respawns are always something I'm scared, especially that I do not know this dungeon. I only played till level 28, so this dungeon is not familiar for me. I don't know what I'm gonna expect. I don't know how many times I'm gonna die, have to run back, so I don't want to kill them over and over and again. And especially, I don't know where are the spots that are safe for not dying. Now, my first problem were the Myrmidons, which I wasn't expecting, but the reasoning is because they have double the amount of health than anything else. Like, every elites have like 1.5k or 1.1k health. This guy has 2.5k. Like, double the amount. They didn't do that much damage, but keep in mind, I don't have any gear, which means my mana and my mana regeneration is awful. Killing something with so much health not just take ages, but yeah, it takes ages, that's kinda it, so yeah. But taking ages is not good because respawn will might happen. Now, surprisingly, this corridor wasn't that bad. I mean, yeah, the enemies came in pairs, so I was always fighting with 2 enemies, and especially it was really annoying if it was one of them or even both of them were Myrmidons. But to be honest, nothing really happened. The save, which is just Frost Nova, the Hellcorers, just Mana Burn, which sounds annoying, but to be honest, not that much, especially that you can LOS or Shadow Ward it. Shadow Stalker do hit hard, but yeah. This corridor was not that special until we meet our first boss. Now, technically he isn't a boss and also skippable, but he is the first quest item giver boss thingy? I don't know how to call it, a quest giver, whatever. And yeah, I could have skipped it, but I'm bored. Like, I'm killing Nagas and Satyrs one by one, and I don't want to go outside questing games, so of course I'm gonna do the quest. I'm so bored not to do that. So yeah, I fought these 3 elites, which was the first time in this dungeon, because I haven't fought 3 enemies altogether. And I was ready, I was just fearing the boss, or quest giver, what we call, killing the other one, and I could have easily done this. But something weird happened, and keep in mind, this isn't the first time that's gonna happen. I killed one, I killed the second one, and I was just out of combat. I didn't get fight. I ran back, and boss was just standing there. I didn't have aggro, he just evaded. I don't know why, and I still don't know why, even after recording this and watching it back, but he just reset the fight. And keep in mind, this dungeon was extremely weird for me. Like, I don't know if it's bugged or everyone learns this way that this dungeon is just this weird, but everything kept evading. And I will show you most of them, but this dungeon was just extremely weird. I don't get it. That was the most weird run so far, and I just don't understand even now that why was everything evading. And it was so annoying. I was kinda like wanted to rage quit because there were so many evades that just destroyed me pretty much, but you will see. Now once I killed the boss, I finally reached the challenging parts, which most enemies came in pairs or 3 of them at once, but that's not the problem. They were extremely strong. Like for example the lore keeper, he just buffs someone and that someone hits so hard that my pet just melts, and same as I. But here was the second problem. The first problem was Acolyte, and this fucker, sorry, but this fucker has 2 important abilities. Heal, which heals so much and doesn't have cooldown, and Renew, which heals exactly as much as my damage over time effect does. So it just cancels out every damage I do. And that healing was so difficult to handle. Both of them were castable spells, so with good fears I could have done this. But man, it was still so hard. It was really difficult. And as you can see, in this clip I managed to pull a second group which had an Acolyte in it, and something else, I think a caster. Lore Keeper, Reaver, Acolyte and a caster, and I did not have any safe spots. I have nowhere to run. I couldn't kite them or anything because the whole thing was just a hallway with no place I could avoid or evade them or get a safe spot, or at least I did not find them. And yeah, I couldn't kill them with kiting neither because the Acolyte just kept healing everything up. And as you can see in this clip, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how much I did, after I reached the water, since in the water they can move as fast as on the ground while I do not, they caught up and they managed to kill me. My second death. And you would think that I am devastated. But no, I'm actually happy, because this is what I wanted. This is the challenge I wanted. Finally, I reached a level that my non-gear or naked personality or whatever you want to call it finally gives us a challenge. They finally actually strong. I have to think, I have to find a solution to solve it. It's finally not boring. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kinda close to quitting this challenge because I was so bored, especially questing, that nothing happened. The whole thing was so easy, expect 1 or 2 bosses like in Shadowfen Keep. I was thinking about quitting, but this lit up the fire. This showed me that it's finally reaching the place where it's actually getting hard because I do not fear any gear. So I was happy and determined, and I finally played normally, thinking ahead, strategizing. Now looking at the terrain, I was already cooking up a strategy how to handle this part, especially when they will come with 3 pairs and later on bosses. So my strategy was kinda annoying because I had to clear out everything, but it was pretty much kiting. Now when I finally finished clearing up, it was time to test out my strategy. And of course my strategy involves running, because that's what I'm good at. Yep. And surprisingly, it kind of worked, but it kind of didn't, because it did work because the AI pathing kind of messed up by jumping down, climbing up again. It kind of worked, but here's the problem. XYZ in WoW Classic is weird. As long as your X... how am I explaining it? As long as your X is equal to your enemy, the Y doesn't matter. What does that mean? Well, no matter if you are on the second, third, fourth level, as long as he's below, above, or on you, he can hit you. So high ground doesn't actually help you here, and since the pathing is really close to the wall, they will pretty much hit me while trying to move to me below. Yeah. So it kind of worked, because yeah, I can kite them, but I still take damage from them. But the real test begins now. 3 enemies at once, and 2 of them were lore keepers. Now the buff is really annoying, but I forgot to mention another ability. Slow, and a long one, like 15 to 20 seconds slow. And not even a small amount, like 40 to 60% slow. Once I get the slow, they can easily catch up to me. And my strategy just doesn't work if they catch up to me, right? But it worked enough, I guess. I didn't die. I managed to do it. It wasn't nice. I took way too much damage, but I guess it worked. My plan, my idea did its job. And that's kinda good, but kinda bad, because I have to figure out how to defeat an actual boss once I reach it. Because, yeah, I can fear them, I can kite them, I can slow them, but I cannot do that to a boss. I cannot fear it, I cannot slow it. So I have to find an idea, and so far this looked the most promising idea, but it wasn't a good way to do it, since even now it was kinda closer to dying, so what's gonna happen with the boss? And here's a clip to see my point that them hitting from me below is so bad, since you can see it even here that I almost died. Now while I was kiting a group, I did fall down, but I easily managed to climb up. But it gave me an idea. Will this ruin the AI's pathing? Can I kite it with just jumping here? I hope you didn't forget that this dungeon is so buggy, because I went underwater to kill the quest boss again, which wasn't that difficult, but once again, I don't know why, and I hate this dungeon now, he just started evading. And all I could do, because he always evaded once I line of sighted him, that I took the damage from him. It was so risky, but I had no other option. I had to tank the whole fight just so I can actually kill it, because for some reason if I LOS'd him or the pet got aggro, he just evaded. I don't know why. I love this dungeon. Wow. WoW Classic is a well-coded game. Now I did an oopsie overpull, like I pulled 3, and I went back to my kiting strategy, but it didn't work. Because one of them was a caster and the other 2 had shock abilities, which is just an instant range spell which hit hard. So kiting wasn't really an option here, because they could just hit me anywhere they wanted. So I tried out my new found jumping and went to the water, and it worked. The AI was so confused that they started to move in circles to reach me. And that was perfect. This was the perfect kiting. Nothing can go wrong now. I can easily defeat anything with... And they just did it. Again. Don't know why. But, yep. And my idea was that the spot was the problem, that they evaded because of this spot, but why? Why is this keep happening? This is like the 5th time by now. I didn't show you all of them, just the annoying ones, but like, can you stop. I wanna finish the dungeon. That's kinda unfair. I would evade too if I could in mid combat to heal myself up and be immune to damage. Yeah, that's bullshit. I want that ability. It's not fair the AI can get it, but I don't. Now once I finished clearing out that god-awful room, which took me way too long because most of them were casted and for some reason they put so much enemy in it with pets and everything that was so annoying, and I don't know why would you do this, especially that they weren't that strong, they just took so much time to kill, like they just want to waste your time. I don't know why am I talking like this. I just kinda lost the hope of living, I don't know. The beginning was better with the Acolytes, Lord Keeper, because they were actually strong, but this part was just annoying. Anyway, here's the boss. I not much to say. It's a caster, you can LOS it, and I did the jumping part. And it worked, it didn't evade, I still don't understand why did they evade. And this boss wasn't scary, and I wasn't scared of it neither, because again, it's a caster. Caster bosses aren't that scary, for me at least. But yeah, there you go. That's the boss. Wow. Now, once I figured out how to open this door, which actually took way too long and I don't wanna talk about it, so let's not talk about it. It summoned two water elementals, which was kinda scary. I mean, it was still two, so it was no problem because one fear and one tank, but you can see the frostbolt volley does hurt. Like, whoa, I was LOSing all my life thereafter that hit, like, no thank you. But the real problem was the four crabs. And again, I don't understand this dungeon, it doesn't make sense. Once I did the four crabs, I went back to my favorite place of jumping down and up, and they didn't follow, they just watching me there evading and then ran back. Like, what? It doesn't make sense. Do crabs don't know how to swim or something? Like, what? Why is this AI so different that they don't follow me but instead just watching me because I guess they don't have a path towards me? Which means they can't swim. The crabs can't swim. I'm not a biologist, but I'm pretty sure they can swim. I mean, you can call me out of that I'm stupid and crabs can't swim and I'm the dumbest thing in the world. Yeah, but I'm gonna stand on my point in this case. I don't get it why they can't swim. No, it's not like it was a wall or something. I mean, yeah, it's four elites, but I just quickly bursted down one and evaded them again, so it became three, then two, and then yeah, that's it. So it wasn't a wall, it was just extremely annoying because I couldn't do it the normal way. But finally, the crabs are done, and on to the last boss. Now, I was not ready for this monster. He has 8.5k health, and not just that, he hits like a truck, especially when he enrages. My pet stood no chance of tanking it. There was no way that he can tank even for 10 seconds. So I went back on to my kiting spot, but for some reason this boss, well, not for some reason, he is a huge Hydra. Like, of course, his attack range is way bigger, so it was really easy for him to hit me from below or from above, even if I was hugging the opposite wall. Yeah, the damage was not avoidable there, especially if it enraged when I was getting hit. I was almost dead. So I went back to the jumping part of the fight, and yeah, I started chasing the boss and killed it that way. Nope, the boss evaded. Yep, I don't know again why. The boss evaded. This jumping method sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. But yeah, this was so annoying because it took me so long to reach this part. And the boss just evades. Yes, I'm so happy. But I did a second try, and here's the result. With a heroic sacrifice from Critical Tango, the boss managed to die, and our 5th dungeon is over. Now we finally reached our first death in a dungeon, so we have total 2 deaths. But again, I'm kinda happy, because that means the challenge finally begins. See you in the next dungeon.